How you doing, guys? I'm Sean. Welcome to Rambles with my camera. Guys, today's video, I'm going to be talking about, as photographers, sometimes we can get into a bit of a rut. We actually become, you know, entrenched in our own belief, like it blinkers on, and we focus on only one particular thing or one particular genre in photography. And even the way we capture that photograph, it's very easy to get into the routine, and hopefully you'll be building up your own style, and people may start to recognize, your own style, how you take a photograph. But I think what we should constantly be doing is constantly trying to be looking away from that and trying to look at the photograph of the subject you're coming across and look at it slightly different. Now, Wayne Dyer, great hero of mine, who's no longer with us in the physical sense, he's certainly in the spiritual dimension. Very inspirational man, one of the heroes of mine, a mentor of mine. I love that man, I still love him, I suppose. He's just, I think he's an amazing person. But he actually mentioned that, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I think you could take that in all sections of your life, but especially photography. And I see so many photographers, when they come across a scene, they see it, and in their eye right away, they see it's a lovely shot, yes, and they just take that photograph, and then they walk on, and they don't really work the image. You know what I mean? Now, sometimes you're lucky enough that you actually get the photograph first time around, maybe one or two, maybe shoot 3 photographs. But what I want you to start to do, if you're not already doing it, is by all means take that first photograph that you see, take the straight on shot if you want to, but take a side step, even get down on your knees, lie on your belly, try to imagine what that photograph would be like if you were taking it from a higher perspective, maybe walking around the object or the subject, and you'll actually see things will start to change. Now, I started doing a lot of photographing reflections, especially in the water and things like that. So when you're seeing the reflection, you can see the trees, on the river, and it's easier just to go ahead and take that straight photograph and keep that photograph up in its correct perspective. But what I like doing is flipping it right round, completely round. We midges are out here feeding on the blood and biting me as we're sitting talking. But basically what I like to do is take a photograph and look at it, and if it works, it works. But I also then try to reverse it around, so therefore you have the water, the reflection in the water, as a main subject. Now, when you're taking that photograph, allow for that. So in other words, don't include too much of the proper scene. So in other words, this photograph here you'll see of the crane, and you've got the church in the distance. But basically, I completely composed that image just with a very slight bit of the land on it, and I photographed the reflection, and I've rotated that around. It's the same with this one here of the ducks in the water. I only included probably about 4 inches of the land, and then what I would have done was spun it round, as I say, focused on the reflection. And you can do that, and the reason why I say do it is because it's just changing your mindset. Because once you start looking for things away from the norm, you start to see things different. And as I say, as Wayne Dyer said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And you could be walking down having a boring day, and you'll be looking for a particular type of photograph, and you may not actually see it. But once you start looking and you're open for other images, and you start to look for detail, and you look at something quirky, like walking through the woods, and I've seen this photograph and I captured it, and I'm just wondering what you think it looks like. For me, it's like a bear. If you go down to the woods today, you're in for a big surprise, and you see the teddy bear's picnic. But I think it looks like a bear. And I took this photograph also in a wood, and you know what I mean? What do you think? It's first impressions. What's that making you think of? Whenever I seen it, I clearly visualised some probably old prostitute in the 1800s standing there, real Cockney London accent. All right, governor, do you want to have a good time? It's just something about it that it's a bit cheesy. I'm sorry, a bit sleazy, but I think it's also humorous at the same time. So you don't always have to, get award-winning photographs. You just want to go out and start to look at things differently, and it doesn't matter whether other people are getting it. This other photograph here is of a tree trunk, and I actually visualise it. Now I've reversed it around. Basically, it's like a pair of legs. Now, are these going to win awards? No, but it doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's just to encourage you to start to look at things completely different. So when you're walking about, constantly look for the details and different things. And once you start doing it, if you're going to take a photograph, by all means take a straight on photograph. You know what I mean? But try to take a walk around behind it. Try to get down on your knees. Whenever I used to teach photography up in the north, and I took a group of students up until the place called Armagh, And the thing that I was telling at the very start, exactly what I've just said there to you, is try not to just take the straight on photograph. Or if you see somebody taking a photograph, don't be mooching over the top of them. So you see somebody taking a photograph, then you go and either shoot over their shoulder, take the same photograph, or you wait that person moves and then you stand where they stand, you take. Don't do that. Don't do it. By all means, you know, if you see a photograph, take it, but try not to copy other people if you see another photographer doing it. And when I was telling them, I said, look, everybody, we could have people standing facing the same object, but everybody's going to see it from a different perspective. And as I carried on, I was telling them, and I took them up and I looked around and they were all, this is this photograph here. And if you see that some was lying down, some was kneeling down, some was standing up on bins and things like that. And I thought it was fantastic, not the photograph that I took, but the photographs that they were taking, because they were changing their perspective, they were becoming unique, they were starting to see things differently. Every single one of the photographs is going to be different. Even if you had 10 people standing side by side and they all take a photograph of one thing, they're all different photographs. Even right down, you know, it could be down to inches, it could be down to millimeters, it could be down to feet. But I want you to constantly change your perspective when you're taking the photographs, and that's what this video is about. So you go, guys, give me some examples of photographs you've taken. Put the links down below, or just let me know. If you haven't started doing this, you know, the easy one is reflections. Do you know what I mean? I genuinely love doing that because it is changing the perspective of it. Like this photograph here was actually just off you can see yourself, it's off a pool of water, and you have the building sitting there. Now that's reversed around, and here's the original. You know, when I think the original, the reversed image looks better than the original. And it doesn't matter, you know, if it's fake, it doesn't matter whether it's saying, it's your interpretation of it, and I think it will help you out. Guys, there you go. Listen, leave a couple of comments down there what you think about it. It's actually Saturday here today. I'm going up to Belfast tomorrow. I'm so looking forward to it. So I'm not too sure what way the internet, the Wi-Fi is going to be about uploading. I hope to be uploading from up there. But if not, thank you all so much for your kind words of support, and all the new subscribers, thanks very much for taking time out here to watch the videos and just subscribe. And you guys here, thanks for sharing this journey with me. Guys, listen, thanks very much for watching again. Know that I'm sending you love from Ireland, and get out there and just change your perspective. And leave you with the words of Wayne Dyer: if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. See you later, guys.